A line in the sand. The Gulf War begins. On August 2, 1990, Saddam Hussein's Iraqi army invaded the small, oil-rich nation of Kuwait. The world watched in horror as this act of naked aggression unfolded. Hussein claimed historical rights to Kuwait, but his true motives were transparent: oil and regional dominance. The invasion was swift and brutal, quickly overwhelming Kuwait's defenses. The international community condemned the invasion and demanded Iraq's immediate withdrawal. The United Nations Security Council passed a series of resolutions imposing sanctions and setting a deadline for Iraqi forces to leave Kuwait. The United States, under President George H.W. Bush, took a firm stance, vowing to liberate Kuwait and restore its sovereignty. What was at stake was not just the fate of a small nation, but the very principles of international law and order. The world held its breath as the deadline approached. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis peacefully faltered. Iraq remained defiant, refusing to relinquish its grip on Kuwait. With the world on the brink of war, a massive military buildup began in the Middle East. Operation Desert Shield, the defensive phase of the Gulf War, transitioned into Operation Desert Storm, signaling the start of a military campaign to liberate Kuwait and confront Saddam Hussein's aggression. Shock and awe. The air campaign. On January 17, 1991, Operation Desert Storm commenced with a thunderous air campaign. The roar of aircraft filled the skies over Baghdad and other strategic targets in Iraq and Kuwait. The coalition's objective was to cripple Iraq's military capabilities, disrupt its command and control structure, and degrade its ability to wage war. The air campaign was a technological marvel, utilizing precision-guided munitions and stealth aircraft to strike targets with unprecedented accuracy. Night after night, television screens around the world broadcast images of bombs exploding on Iraqi military installations, airfields, and communication centers. The coalition's air power, spearheaded by the United States Air Force, systematically dismantled Iraq's military infrastructure. Targets included Iraqi air defenses, Scud missile launch sites, and suspected chemical and biological weapons facilities. The air campaign lasted for weeks, relentlessly pounding Iraqi forces and eroding their morale. Coalition pilots flew thousands of sorties, demonstrating remarkable skill and courage in the face of enemy fire. The air campaign was not without its risks and challenges, as Iraqi forces fired Scud missiles at coalition bases in Saudi Arabia and Israel. However, the coalition's air superiority was never in doubt, and the air campaign proved to be a decisive factor in the liberation of Kuwait. Boots on the ground, the liberation of Kuwait. As the air campaign relentlessly pounded Iraqi forces, coalition ground troops prepared for the next phase of Operation Desert Storm, the liberation of Kuwait. On February 24, 1991, under the cover of darkness, coalition ground forces crossed the border into Kuwait, launching a massive ground offensive against the entrenched Iraqi army. The ground war was swift and decisive, lasting only 100 hours. Coalition forces led by the United States Army and Marine Corps quickly outmaneuvered and overwhelmed Iraqi defenses. The Iraqi army, demoralized by weeks of relentless air attacks and facing superior firepower and tactics, put up fierce but ultimately futile resistance. Key battles, such as the Battle of Khafji and the Battle of 73 Easting, showcase the coalition's military prowess and the bravery of its soldiers. The ground war witnessed some of the most iconic images of the conflict, including the Highway of Death, a stretch of road littered with destroyed Iraqi vehicles retreating from Kuwait. Coalition forces liberated Kuwait City on February 27, 1991, effectively ending the Iraqi occupation. The liberation of Kuwait was a triumphant moment for the coalition, a testament to the courage and sacrifice of its soldiers and the effectiveness of its military strategy.